Good afternoon. My name is Patricia Caputo. For all of you who don't know me, I'm in charge of the transportation now. I do not have the minutes from the last meeting because Dominic is ill. And Fausto was kind enough to offer to take roll call and take the minutes.
Oh.
So I'll let him start so we don't waste time.
Where is everybody?
Okay.
Where is?
For the committee, we have Ruth is here,
Here.
Bobby Levin is here, and Phyllis Zeidelman. We have one guest. Of the officers, David is here. Patricia
She's
is
not
here.
And Joanne.
And Joanne is here.
I'm not official.
But you're an officer.
No, she's just.
You're an officer.
All right, you're here, you're here.
So I'm brand new to this, folks, so I don't know what you discussed at the last few meetings. Like I said, I don't have minutes for this meeting. I'm going to turn it over to Barbie Levin, who's in charge of the excursion buses.
No, well,
She's not really
not in charge. I
Okay,
just
well, she's good.
report on
You
the
have to
last
raise your hand
one.
to speak at this meeting.
Report on the last ones. The last trip to the Boca Art Museum, I think was well received by everybody. 55 people paid, 50 people showed up. The announcement said no refunds, so I had no problem with that. I think everybody had a lovely time. In fact, people have called me to say, can't we go again? I don't think that that's necessary, but it was the bus driver that's been assigned to us by Academy the last 2 times is fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
People love her. She adds something to the trip. And I would have told the guys if they were here. Next on the agenda for us to decide on is a trip to the Port of Palm Beach. The gentleman there has been in touch with me a couple of times, as has been a couple of the commissioners. They're very anxious to have us. As many people as want to come, as many times as we want to go. It still costs us $600 to send a bus 5 miles. To rent a bus.
How many people go?
Well, this is it.
$540.
All right, I'm rounding it off.
How many people go?
Well, we can have as many people. This is what I want to discuss with you. They told me that our full-size bus can negotiate around the port. That's no problem.
Okay.
Now, if we put 55 people on a bus, you're not going to see a thing there. So I would limit it to 45 people. 45 people go. The commissioners will put out a coffee and donut sort of thing. Yes, David.
Has anyone looked at diverting 2 of our normal buses?
Yes, I've asked.
And reorienting the schedule
I asked.
to adjust to that?
I asked.
Instead it is $600.
I wrote to Donald earlier in the month. And he wrote back to me that it really wasn't feasible.
Donald who?
Donald Foster.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not.
Okay, he's got nothing to do with the
Well,
buses.
I asked about that. I said, can't we take one of our, oh, I know what the answer was. That our buses that we use internally are really not buses that should go out on the highway and into other locations. That's what I was told. I did bring it up. I wanted to know.
Why don't we discuss it with someone at the
Well,
bus
I thought
company?
the guys would be here
These
today.
buses that run around here have licenses, they go out to Publix.
I
They're
asked
perfectly road capable.
that. I absolutely asked David, and I thought the representatives would be here today.
Neither.
And I would have brought it up.
Do you want me to reach out to Omar?
And the other one. Please.
Good.
I wanted to
Okay, can you give me the number?
I thought once we got this going, if we went to using a regular bus, we would go to the port and then leave the port and go over to the outlet mall for an hour where people could shop and eat. But if we use these internal buses, we will just go, say 9:30 and be back here at 11.
You know, this is $1 million contract. You know, let's not talk to our CAM about these.
Well, I
buses.
didn't know who else to discuss with this.
Let's
then.
go to the bus company.
Okay, can you give me the number, either one of you?
Yeah, I don't have the, wherewithal to
number you
call the
looking
bus
at?
company.
I would like to
Omar?
talk to the person.
We'll have to get-
Probably
I'll
ask
fi- I'll
the
find No, no, I'll get
dispatcher.
it, I just wanted.
I would
to-
appreciate
I
it.
don't-
I don't have the
I'll find it.
authority
Okay.
to get in touch with
I-
him.
If I can
So
find
we
it.
want to
anywhere,
know
I'll give it
if we can reroute one of our
Okay.
internal buses for 2 hours any day of the week to go to the port and come back.
Well, if you're gonna bring 50 people, you're gonna.
No,
do two.
no, we would limit it, on those buses, we would limit it to 22.
Okay,
22 people can go, and if it works out, we'll do it again the next
You
week.
said 45, you want to.
No.
Okay,
Well, if the
Okay.
big buses, we would use 45,
Okay.
but that
Alright.
was my original question. Is it
Okay.
worth renting a bus for $600 to go 5 miles?
yeah,
All right, so we'll leave
okay,
that.
hold on.
I'll check that out.
Patricia, I
Yes.
have a question over
Because
there.
I ride the
I'm so-
buses almost every day. There's a new bus that they're using now. It's got blue designs on it,
Yeah.
whatever. That holds about, I think, 20, anywhere from 26 to 29 people.
Yeah, depending on if they're on
Yeah.
wheelchairs,
And the
right.
seats are very comfortable. It's very nice.
Yeah,
Clean.
Fine, I'll leave it to
Yeah,
you.
okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So that was that on the Port of Palm Beach. So I just have to get back to him and tell him when we're coming.
Okay, when are we talking about?
So October,
Oh, this is October.
right, but I have to get the publicity out way in
I
advance,
got
so
that,
that's
I
why.
got that,
Okay.
I got that. Wait, let her finish first and then I'll
Okay,
tell you.
the other tour that we have,
The other tour is what?
the other will be in November. Date to be announced also to the Education Outreach Holocaust Center in Dania Beach. They're also very anxious to have us, as many people as want to come. That will be $10 a person. They will give us docents. They will give us a Spanish-speaking docent. I asked her about restaurants in the neighborhood because they don't have a cafeteria.
Mhm.
She told me she would give me a list,
list.
but she said if we told her far enough in advance, they would give us a room where we
Oh.
could bring in our own lunch.
Okay,
Or she said, for a fee, and I don't know what the fee is, they
Yeah.
can order box lunches for us.
Mm.
So that remains to be seen.
What's the
But
name
that-
of this trip? now?
That's gonna be the
That's-
Holocaust
Cost.
Documentation and Education Center.
Wow.
Mhm.
So that's going to be in November, date to be announced.
Yes, I wrote that.
All right,
Mhm.
that's all I have on the agenda.
All right,
Other than one question when we went to the Boca Museum. We got back and people had just missed the bus. So somehow somebody has to tell me what time do buses leave the clubhouse so I could adjust trips to accommodate that.
3 o'clock.
Well, 3 o'clock and
You have
then,
to be back before 3. And I'm just gonna tell you something that I know from past experience, that if the bus was gonna be 5 minutes late or so, I used to be able to call somebody and ask them to please hold the bus until we got back.
well, I was very clear before we left the clubhouse last week. I announced to
yes,
everybody
you did.
that I am not a tour guide. I am not a professional tour guide. The bus is leaving at such and such a time. If you're not here, tough. And that's it, people. I'm not gonna make other arrangements. If you miss the bus at the clubhouse, that's on you. I can't be bothered.
We do that
But
with the Italian club as well.
if the buses leave the clubhouse at 3, does that mean they leave at 4 also?
They leave
Just
every
on the hour.
on the hour,
Okay, that's
okay?
what I wanna know.
But The
Leave.
buses are for 5 hours and usually we scheduled it
Hour.
from 10 to
Leave.
3. We board the bus whatever time
Well-
and we try to make back before 3 o'clock.
Well-
Now, if you're coming in and it's almost 3 o'clock, I, out of experience, I used to get off the bus and go over to them and ask them to wait until the people got off the bus to go home.
You're a better person than me, Phyllis. I don't, you get off the bus, you're off the bus.
Okay.
You're a better person than I
Didn't
am.
we leave at 3:30? And there was no
Well-
problem, 3:30?
As long as I know now, I will adjust the time for the trip to get back by 3 or by 4. What time do the buses get to the clubhouse in the morning?
I think
Is
they
it-
started at 8.
Is it on the hour also?
Yes.
Okay, because somebody came and she said to me, my bus comes at 9:30. I said, you better make the earlier bus. Okay, so they leave the club, they get to the clubhouse on the hour? That's all I need to know.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Okay, yes.
Okay, I want to bring up the excursion buses also, but on a different basis. These excursion buses started out as shopping trips or wherever it is, and for some reason, I've had a lot of complaints of why aren't we going here and why aren't we going there? I really haven't asked for a bus, but I am going to now ask to have a regular excursion bus so people can go to the shopping, to the malls for whatever. And that's basically how it really started, these excursion buses. And I'm asking for a bus for October because right now it's kind of hot out there. So I'm asking for a regular excursion bus to go somewhere, shopping of some mall. I didn't think of starting in October. But we don't have a quorum here and we don't have anybody to possibly second it. We have a $20,000 budget. We're allowed 2 buses a month. If she wants to take one out in October, okay, and I'll take one out in October.
Okay, I'm listening.
And so far, we've only used, I checked with the treasurer, we've only used about $2,500 out of our $20,000 budget. Come October, some of our snowbirds will be back and they want to go out shopping somewhere. So I'm asking for a bus for October to go to a different kind of thing, a free trip. Not something they have to pay for. Our snowbirds like to go to a shopping mall. They don't have a chance to go out anywhere. They like to go and have a lunch in the mall. But we don't have a quorum here, so I don't know what to tell you.
I heard you loud and clear.
You're allowing Barbie to take out all the excursion trips.
No.
And I think that's being very.
You're mistaken. It's the people in the village who are requesting it. I, for one, go on her trips because they're interesting,
Right, but
they're fun. And a lot of people want to come. She had a waiting list so long.
Oh.
So really you have to go by, excuse me,
Okay.
you have to go by what the majority of people want. A lot of people
And there are
don't.
plenty.
I listen to you, I'm talking now. A lot of people are not interested in going shopping every month. In December, wait a minute, maybe December, the end of November, somewhere in there, for the holiday, for Hanukkah, for Christmas, I think it's a great idea. On a steady
I'm asking
basis,
for October.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm telling you something.
And
I want to know if you hear me. The thing is that it goes by what the majority of people would like to do in the
Okay.
village.
I used to be able to fill a bus of 55 people to go to a mall. Not everybody wants to lay out money. And I think that if you're doing that, you're discriminating.
That's the problem. You said 55 people, the same 55 showed up every month. That doesn't represent the village, and we should not be paying for the same 55. I am not in favor of those trips at all, except perhaps the shopping trip in December for Christmas. Other than that,
You know what? She's right. I went to put my name on the list. The second day they put that list down, and I was told, you know how many times I tried to take a bus and I couldn't go because it was already taken, and people sign in other people, which was
No,
not
that
right.
was not so. And
Yes, it was.
excuse me.
Yes, it was.
I go down with the sheets myself, and the last couple of times that I went down, you're only allowed to sign for one unless you were a husband and a thing. And the sheet goes out, everybody is entitled to come down and sign up. I very rarely have anybody, I have a waiting list, and a lot of time people don't show up, and I put people on. I very rarely leave anybody out. So please don't say that.
No. Listen, don't call me a liar. I have done this years ago and I did it repeatedly, and my neighbors also tried to go. It was the same people. The day the list went out one day, we went in the afternoon, we were told it was full. That's very unusual. Now, I don't know who was signing the sheets. There were other people who were signing other people's names. Don't say it isn't true, because one person told me that. Know your facts before you speak. I don't mind when you speak, but make the truth here.
Maybe when you went down to sign up.
More than once.
Okay, but when I take the sheets down myself, I'm gonna tell you again, one name per thing, unless you are husband and wife.
I understand what you're saying, but you obviously are not listening to what I'm saying. Excuse me, your turn.
First, I want it on the record, they are not Bobby's trips.
Put
I
that up.
planned these trips just because nobody else was. If somebody else wants to plan excursion trips, be my guest. They are not my trips. Second of all, I echo what Ruth said. I don't think it's a good use of our finances to take buses to shopping centers on a regular basis. Don't our buses go to the outlet mall on a regular basis?
Friday.
Every Friday.
There's plenty of there is no point in driving to IKEA to buy a bottle of jam. There is no point in going to the Boca Town Center. We can't afford to walk into those stores. If we're going to go shopping locally. But please, they are not my trips. If anybody else wants to plan one, plan one.
Okay, everybody loved the IKEA trip, and that's not so, because everybody bought something. There were a lot of Canadians on that bus, and they loved it. I meet people in the street now, or I see them in the supermarket, and they want to know when we're going to go to a mall. You just can't take people on a trip to be paid, because some people don't want a museum. This is how the excursion buses started.
Just let it finish, and then let it finish. Finish.
And what was the other one you said? To Boca Mall? The women love the Boca Mall. Not the Boca Mall has the same, it's something for the people who don't get out, who don't drive. It gives them something to get out for the day. Something different.
Hello.
And you can't discriminate against hub trips that are paid and the free trips. And the same people, if they want to go, I can't stop them. But that list goes out for anybody that wants to sign up. I go down with the list myself.
Fausto?
Well, what I was going to suggest, instead of saying we're going to go to a mall, some kind of a mall, come up with a date, a month, and exactly where you want to go. Present it to the chair, to the committee, to say, I want to go shopping somewhere.
Well, I didn't really think of it. I just asking for bus October now, because I may not be here next month.
Okay.
And I want to see if I have one, and I will plan some trip. I just don't think I'll be here.
Put it in writing and give it to the chair, and she'll bring it up.
We can't make a decision.
There's nobody here. I understand that.
She said it herself.
But you gotta have a place to go.
Believe me, I'll have a place to go.
That's not. Yes.
Has anyone thought about Cape Canaveral for a launch?
Yes.
Hi, Maria, can I call you back in the meeting?
Very hard.
Okay, I'll call you back in a little while. That's okay.
Expensive.
Why?
What you said was
More than a
okay.
5-hour trip.
Huh?
It's more than a 5-hour trip.
Yeah.
For a
Really?
launch, well, we have to get.
Yeah, the JFK bunker.
New owners.
Did you like to do it? I meant to tell you.
Yeah, I did.
The last time we looked into it, to go to Cape Canaveral was like $90 or $100 a person
No, that's
for the tour.
They're not gonna pay.
And to go there, they could be a launch planned.
Yeah.
And we could be on the road and it can be aborted. There's no point to it.
There a stop there on Brightline?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Somebody
The
has.
buses
suggested-
are, there's other ways to travel.
Yeah, I mean, people suggested to me going to this Navy SEAL Museum.
Oh, yeah, well, you'd love it.
They said, but there was a lot of walking, they said, and that's one of the considerations beside price.
All right.
People have said the Murakami Museum, it's lovely, we could get, but there's walking. So
How
you're-
about the turtles? That
We'll
was
do
a
that
popular-
again in
that
the-
was a good
Turtles.
one.
Yeah, up in,
That was
A lot of things are walking,
one.
shopping's walking. It's up to the people.
A lot of people like to go to the malls, even if the people here, you all drive here, but a lot
I
of
don't
people
drive.
in this village don't drive.
I don't drive.
Is there something special? I mean, there's a huge shopping complex right here on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard.
Yeah.
What is it?
Every store.
Are these other malls something
Yes.
exotic?
Yes, they have a lot of nice things there. Not only that, people here who don't drive like to go out to eat. The women love to have something place to eat. They like something new to do.
Is this old business we're discussing, by the way?
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
And
I
if
feel
you-
like I can add a little value
You
because I
can.
am a bus, patron, whatever.
Yeah.
The problem with those malls is that it's just, first of all, there's just so many malls you can go to, and there are these high-end malls that people have no interest, other than maybe Macy's. They're so expensive, and as far as lunch, Palm Beach outlets, they have all these
you got
places there, they have
2Js
two
and all the
J's,
others.
they have another place, I forgot the name,
Red Robin there.
pizzeria, Red Rock, there's at least 4 or
The
5
grill,
different
the
places
grill
to
and
eat.
stuff, yeah.
And there's every kind of store you could think of there. So there's one side that has all clothes and shoe places, and the other
There's
side,
enough
I
shopping.
was telling Patricia, has all kinds of home goods, TJ Maxx, all reasonable stores. People love those stores because they get bargains and they're not paying, most people can't afford to go into, Louis Vuitton or Chanel,
I
like.
think we kind of went off the
Saks.
schedule. Was that old business we were talking about?
Pardon?
Yeah,
Old
kind of,
business?
yeah,
Old business?
yeah.
I wasn't at the last meeting. Is that old business about the buses? What about new business? Anybody have any?
Well, I didn't get a decision yet. I want
I
to
can't
know.
give you a
There is
decision.
no
There's no
decision.
clue. You said it yourself.
Just because we
Well, I'm
have,
gonna tell you that there is nobody here that really, except for me and one other person, will do that. None of you vice presidents or anybody else really like these buses, and that's discriminating against the things that I want to
You're
do.
wrong, and you shouldn't say anything
wait.
you don't know anything about.
Why-
I'm a
why-
vice president. You didn't ask me if I like it or not. You're assuming. No one here said they didn't like it. What I heard was they want to spend the money wisely, what the majority of people would like.
and you don't have to
You
spend
like
it
it,
because
but
it's
how
what
many
you-
people around, show me all the people, plant something, give it to me, give me a list, and
I'll
we'll
show you
decide.
all my list from.
It doesn't matter. You need a list, and you use the word that I want to go. You're putting yourself as the head of doing something that you want to do. And we're telling you that it's the whole village, and people want to do something different other than, but I gave you the option. Put a date together, put a trip together, and give it to the chair if you're not
And
gonna
we'll
be
vote
here,
at the
and we'll
next
discuss it at the next meeting.
That's fair. Just do that. Anybody else with new business? General discussion. Going, good and welfare.
I want to talk about, I don't know, new business, general discussion.
I don't know.
I don't think anybody in this room takes the buses. Do you take the buses?
I'm going to now, but no.
Okay, I make it my business to go on a bus once a week to see how they're running, okay? Those buses are very important to me, how I feel. I know a lot of people that take them, and I would like to see what goes on the buses. I was on a bus last week, I don't know what happened to it, but it was a fairly new bus, and it was wonderful. The air conditioning was great, and I want to know what happened to that bus. I know it's not on that route anymore, but there's no one here to ask that question.
That's the
I got the
problem.
number of the bus.
That bus is running every day. Usually they're using that new bus.
Did you come here?
Yeah, come and
Oh, I didn't
see.
know if I was allowed to.
You
sit
can.
there. I feel
There's
funny
nobody
sitting
here, and I
there.
That's all
can't
right.
hear you.
That bus, they've been using it every day for outside the perimeter or for the Publix Express. that the bus that you're speaking of.
Maybe.
Yeah, and everybody likes
there.
it. I mean, it's very.
Are you saying that the other buses don't have air conditioning?
They do, but they kind of like, a lot of
Yeah,
times they
well,
break
I didn't think,
down
the
and-
number one
Yeah.
bus that day was last Tuesday, did not have air conditioning. Because I went on the bus and I said to the driver, it's hot in here. So, well, but I went to the supervisor that was outside and I said to him, listen, number one, it was number one last week. You don't have air conditioning. Could you make sure you take the bus? When the bus goes in tonight, you have them check it out. That number one bus that day is usually the number two bus.
Oh, so.
Okay.
Alternated on
Oh,
all
And
routes.
that number two bus, the air conditioner doesn't work right all the
What day
time.
next week, you know?
What?
What day last week?
It was last Tuesday, okay? The new bus number was, I took the number of the buses, 2921, and that's what I really want to ask you. If we have one or two new buses on the road, why are we not using them for, we don't really need it for the Publix Express. Publix Express takes one route every hour on the hour, and it's not necessary to put a new bus on a route that doesn't do a lot of people. If you're gonna have a new bus, you should put it to where it could be used the best. And one of those things is the picking up of people that you do the route. You're gonna have a new bus. I don't think it should be a Publix bus. I think it should be a regular route bus.
But we don't route the buses. The
Right.
bus company sets up the routes.
Well, right.
And they put the buses in and out as they please. We don't tell them what bus to use.
Well, why isn't it, if we're hiring those buses, that we can't ask for the newer buses to do a regular route rather than a Publix route? I mean, how many people are on every hour on the hour on a Publix bus compared to all the other buses that the people ride? I mean, that's why you need to have the bus people here to discuss it.
I know, one is sick and I think one is on vacation. I think I told you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You really need to have the newer buses do a better route. That's my thinking, okay?
I
You
think we should
don't
cut
need-
back on the buses and we'd save a
No,
lot of money.
actually, I think that you can bring that up at the next meeting if you're
Yes.
here. That would be.
I may not
that
be
would
here.
Well, I'll bring it up then.
If we're gonna
I know.
have a
But
newer
there's
bus,
other stores over there too.
I heard you,
besides
I
Publix.
heard you.
okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I said, I make it my business to take a bus every week to see what goes on. And I speak to the people, and those buses are very important for me, because maybe one day, I have taken them on occasion, but maybe one day I won't be able to drive, and I will need to depend on those buses. And I really feel that a lot of people that come to Century Village come because of our bus system, especially if they don't drive. I think it's the most important thing that we really have here in Century Village is our bus system.
It is
I don't know if anybody
It's
else
important.
feels that way.
No, it is important. I feel that way. I'll be taking all the
I
buses.
think now that you're in charge, if you ride a bus and the air conditioning doesn't work,
Yeah.
you should be calling Patricia.
Well, it was 5 o'clock at night. I wasn't gonna call
No,
her.
she should be filling
No,
out.
she
You should be
fill out
filling out a
form.
form, but the next day, don't wait a week.
It's
to
no
come
good.
back
Well, like I said, the supervisor was there and I made mention to him.
Yeah, but she's the current chair. She
Well,
needs
I
to be in
didn't know
touch.
that.
No, I just announced, I just
Right,
found
I
out today.
understand
too.
it.
Well, now that I know, I will
Yeah, now
call
that
them
I
the
know
next
too.
day. Actually, Dominic was the chair
I
before.
know that, I do know.
But I will, I wrote it down on my little book. I take notice of everything.
Stephanie, did you want to say something you were telling me out there? You
Yeah.
had mentioned
Okay,
that.
the new Presidente Market opened, as everybody knows, by
Right.
Ross. Brand new, people have been going there, but now
Let me see.
I think it's just a little kind of stupid, I guess, for lack of another word. For the buses to now still be going on Friday to the old Presidente, going all the
We just
way,
said that
that seems a
before.
little out of the way.
I didn't know they
That's what I
got it.
said before. See, it did go.
And
to some-
nobody, I was on it this past Friday,
No, I know.
nobody got on, nobody got off. So that's the day that the
Okay.
bus goes to.
Is that the one you're talking about down in military, where was the
Oh, it's all
president?
the way down. I'm still getting familiar with the
Didn't even
area,
know they
so.
go
Yeah, they do, that's why I was
It's
asking,
all the
like
way
she
down.
said.
It's like
No,
past
yeah.
the
We have
airport.
to see that the buses are
Yeah.
in better
On the
areas.
left-hand side.
Like
you go
near
past
Forest
that.
Hills
Yeah.
almost.
It's the
No.
furthest
No.
destination.
It's,
is where the bus
it's
is.
Gun Club Road and Military
Yeah.
Trail.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
So the thing is, it's on a Friday when the bus goes to Palm Beach Outlet, so I'm thinking, why can't they
Like she
delete
said.
that stop at the old President Day? And just gear the day around the Palm Beach outlets and maybe even Aldi, because it's going in the same direction. A lot of people complain with the Palm Beach outlets that, and believe me, I'm grateful that they even go there at all. But a lot of people, they say they either have to stay for an hour or 4 or 5 hours, the way the schedule is set up. And that's all because of that Presidente is in there, and it's so silly, because it's now, especially because the new one's open. Who wants to go all the way out of the way to the old dingy one anyway?
Well, I could bring a cousin here.
I think that Palm Beach Outlet has 2 stops on Friday. And,
Well, the way it works is you have to be, you can get there at 9:30.
and 10:30.
10:30. Now, if you don't get on the 10:30 bus to come back to Old Country Village or another stop, you have to stay at the outlet till 2:30. And then there's another bus at 3:30. So a lot of people feel like, well.
But isn't that because of the lunch hour? They go stop for an hour to
Well,
lunch?
it's 10:30 to 2:30, so then that's not,
That's a
they're
long
not doing
time.
their lunch all those hours,
Yeah,
so
that's
I
a
just
long
think that's something they can, because 2 hours, a lot of people say 2 hours would be perfect, extend it 2 hours. Because it's either an hour, there's not enough time to go to a couple of stores, and there's a Whole Foods there too, so a lot of people like to go in there, and 4 hours could be a lot of hours, especially in the heat with, people, 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah.
Sounds to me like we really have to have
I
a
think we have
serious
to
sit
have
down
them
with
here.
Omar
I think with the next meeting, we have to have
or
Omar and-
schedule a
yeah.
meeting with them to just go
to
over the
discuss
schedule.
what she said,
Yeah.
to go over
Give
the
us a
different
little more
schedules.
time.
May not be here.
But we'll still discuss it. It has to get resolved, whether you're here or not.
But I think they should give us an hour time and
Absolutely.
go over those schedules.
Absolutely.
I find, I'm just gonna tell you, my opinion of the Palm Beach outlets is a bunch of garbage. It's all leftover stuff. Marshall's closed up here and they went to Palm Beach Gardens Mall. But that Marshall's at Palm Beach Gardens Mall has all the leftover
No,
store.
that's not true.
Is
That's
it
not true.
Marshall's?
I have to disagree.
But I like Bed Bath and Beyond. I love that store. There's a lot of good stores there. The Rack, Home Goods. There's other good stores. Did you go on the other side where there's the more expensive stores?
I can't be worried about shopping.
And
Yeah.
the stuff is made just for the
We're done
stores.
shopping.
And people like bed,
You need a doctor's appointment instead of to
Calvin
shopping.
Klein and
Right.
Aim or
So I don't
whatever.
go in
they
there.
were. It's
Don't go
not
upset
great
about it.
stuff. It's not new stuff. I find it's all used stuff.
Okay.
Hold on. How many of you have, you have a computer?
Yeah, I'm not very good at it.
You have a computer,
I
dear?
do.
Do I have one? My iPhone I'm using right
Okay.
now, it's my computer.
And I understand, plus or minus, getting out of this campus. I appreciate that if you
Right.
don't drive.
Right.
But, and I've said this before, and maybe you remember. With an internet connected device, you can shop the known universe.
No, I know.
You want to buy something from Harrods in London, you can do it. You want to buy something from Moscow, you can do it. So don't go on about, oh, they have leftover stuff. If you really need to get something, you can get on a computer and you can get, there's nothing you can't get.
That's true.
All right, I appreciate it. You don't drive, you want to get out. That, you can't do that in a computer. I
But you
appreciate
can't
it.
go on these other tours. Open up your mind.
I understand that. I'm just addressing this shopping issue.
Okay.
I haven't been in a mall since Maryland and Landover Mall.
You're a
Gonna be
man.
30 years.
You're a man. Ladies look at it differently.
Yeah, I know, you
We
gotta
try-
feel the flesh.
No, you gotta try.
No, you have to try.
I don't-
Except that I like
Not all
to,
of us.
I like to try everything on, you know, that's me. I can't guess on a computer what size it is. I'm a funny size, you know, I'm not a 12, not a
All right,
13. And then you can only get an 8, you know, but that's me. I like to buy a pair of shoes. I can't guess what
That's
size
true.
it's gonna be in the shoe department. And I like to buy gifts.
Okay, anyone have anything else to say?
Next month.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'm, excuse me,
I make a
I was
motion.
just gonna say.
I make a motion.
We all make a motion.
I don't know the next date. I'll have to find that out. I
Oh,
don't know
the
when it
next
is.
date would be the first Tuesday in August.
Oh, the first Tuesday in August?
First Tuesday, whenever that.
Okay,
All right.
it's all good. Did a good job, Patricia.
No, I didn't, but I did the best I could with what I had.
Patricia, are you adjourned?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, we are adjourned.
Yeah, you go.
We are adjourned, no more discussion.